Hello, Dijon here. In the comics portion of episode 137 of the Mustardcast, we go over what books we've been reading lately and review issues 4, 5, and 6 of Absolute Batman. Please enjoy. Yeah, so moving on to comics. What have you been reading lately, eh?
Comics wise, I actually have a couple. And I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget them.
It's just books in general.
Huh?
That's
Oh,
it.
just books in general?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, books in general, House of Leaves, I've been doing my a reread of now that I had finished it and it's like sat for a couple months. I'm like, okay, let's go back, look at it with a fresh pair of eyes now that I know what happens. And that's been really fun. Catching on all the like little details that come up later in the narrative. And then Witch Hat Atelier I've been rereading, and it also updated recently after being on hiatus for 2 months, so very topical given the animation section and the trailer there. Aquaman Andromeda I'm also rereading just for the kicks and giggles now that I'm more into comics, and that's been really, really fun now that
That's
I
on
have
the
like a,
list.
a comic brain. It is!
We're supposed to
Is it now?
yeah, we're supposed to read that.
Uh, Reading ahead then. Absolute Green Lantern. I'm working through that really slowly, but that's only because I'm taking it all in. I forgot who does the inks and colors for it. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna butcher this name, but I'm gonna do my best. Jahoy Lindsay is really like just a great artist. I love their work. It's great. So I've really been enjoying that, and it's like I'm eschewing the actual reading part of the comic mostly to focus on the art. It's a little silly, but that's it. Besides that, that other thing that we'll
Yeah.
talk about later.
Aquaman Andromeda is only 3 issues, so that'll probably be a single episode read. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that
Okay.
eventually. Yeah, what about you, Bree? What have you been reading?
So far I've just also been like really taking my time with things. So I'm still reading I fake amnesia to divorce my husband. And I've been reading still The Summer Haku Died because I took a break from reading that. And then I'm also rereading some things like Bong Chong Bread. And
Mm.
then mm, there's one I've also been like really, really laxed on reading. Maybe because I keep forgetting that it exists, but it's like the a businessman and then like a host meet up at like a food joint and they just like talk regularly about like the food and like their days because like they essentially meet when like one day's end and then like the other's day is like starting.
Ooh. Do you remember the name? That sounds like fun.
I do that. I have to go look at my bookmarks, but I will let you know because it is really cute.
Bet.
Well, that's it for it now.
Cool. Well, for me, I'm still reading The Witcher: Time of Contempt. I've now caught up to where season 3 ended in the book, so that's been fun seeing the differences between how the book and the show handles that story. I read Radiant Black number 34, slowly catching up on that. I read Imperial number 4, the final issue of Imperial, and it was really good. It was just this big galactic, like political story in the Marvel universe between like the Shi'ar, was it the Kree and the Skrulls, the Wakanda, and the Spartax Empire, which is the empire of Star Lord's father. Um, and it was really cool. Which, like, yeah, Wakanda's in space. If you didn't know that, niggas in space.
Wanda's in
But
space is crazy.
they found the source of vibranium because vibranium came from space. They found the source and they set up
Oh
base
wow.
there. Um,
Whoa.
yeah, it's cool. But yeah, Imperial was really fun. Oh, the Hulk, I forgot. Also, Sakaar. The Hulk was involved as well. On planet, like
Oh wow.
like from the Planet Hulk story, the planet he was sent to, and he was a ruler of for a short period of time. And he left his son that he had on that planet as ruler on there, but his son was assassinated. So the Hulk was out for blood. It was a fun story, and like Black Panther was framed, and everybody was going after Black Panther and the Wakandans. It was awesome. And Nova was involved. It was real cool. Um, and I'm excited to see the stories that spin off from it. Next, we have, or I read, Battle Beast number. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. Let me take this off. I didn't read Battle Beast number 6. I haven't read it yet. It's the last of the comics that I went and picked up from the comic book shop that I need to read before I go pick up the other ones. Read New Mutants number 12. Been putting that off. A comic from the 80s. Essentially, not my first X-Men comic. I've read plenty of X-Men comics, but the first time I've decided to sit down and read an entire X-Men run. I don't even know if that's true. I think I read Scott Whedon, the entirety of Scott Whedon's run on Astonishing X-Men. He sucks. That comic's good though. Joss Whedon, not Scott Whedon. I was mixing
Hey.
Scott Snyder and Joss Whedon. Zack Snyder. No, Scott Snyder. He's a comic book writer. He writes Absolute Batman.
Okay.
And Joss Whedon. Scott Snyder, as far as we know, good guys. Joss Whedon sucks. Really bad person. But yeah, read New Mutants. That's really fun. Recently in comics, a really, really bad story about magic was written. And the reason I started reading New Mutants was because of magic. Because it was like back when Marvel Rivals was like, I think announced before it even came out, and magic was like in the trailer. I was like, oh, magic. I've always found magic cool. Let me read a magic comic book. So I read the first like magic origin story, like mini series, which is really good. And that leads into New Mutants, which she is a big part of that team. But I actually haven't gotten to the part of the comic where she joins the team yet. So I've been reading that, and I'm very sad to hear what they've done to magic in the comics recently. It's really messed up. It's like as messed up can get. In the magic comic, which is really good, but it is pretty dark. She gets like kidnapped and brought to this realm called Limbo, where like demons live, and she gets like tortured and assaulted by like the ruler,
Oh.
whose name I can't remember, and eventually, she she defeats them, and she ends up becoming the ruler of Limbo, and then goes back to Earth. And in the current comic, I forget what it's called, but it's some big like X-Men event. They have her. She dies, and when she dies, her soul essentially is owned by that dude who Belasco, I think his name is, who had previously kidnapped her, and she, for all intents and purposes, is basically a sex slave for all time. And they're making her like a villain, and I'm like, what is this weird shit where they're like weaponizing the trauma this character went through? This is like some 90s comic book shit, not modern day comic stuff. Like that's not the type of stuff you expect to see in a modern comic. They did fucked up shit like that with women in comics all the time back in like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, but I thought we were fucking past that. It's weird.
Right.
Apparently not, because what?
Yeah, next we have a good comic starring woman written by Greg Rucka. Cheetah and Cheshire robbed Justice League number 3, which is really fun. Next we have another good comic starring woman written by a woman this time. Birds of Prey number 26, which unfortunately is ending in 2 issues, and I'm sad because Birds of Prey has been really fun. I read Absolute Flash number 8, Batman Superman Wars Finest number 44, Absolute Batman number 12, Poison Ivy number 34. Actually, I think that's inaccurate. No, that's right. And Absolute Wonder Woman number 13. I think I'm about to buy Absolute Batman Annual number 1 physically. I wasn't going to, but I was like, I want to buy that. I'm not going to say anything about it because that would be spoilers. But you might have seen some memes from it. Unfortunately, there have been some like very racist memes from it. The thing that happens in the book is like the complete opposite of racist. Okay, it's not really spoiler. Batman beats up some racist people in the book, and there's a very specific panel where he like breaks a Nazi's arm, and people are using it to like have it be the other way around, where it's like somebody breaking a black person's arm, and they're like using it in like to be racist. They're using an example of anti-racism to be racist, like they do. But moving on to the book itself, Absolute Batman, the final 3 issues of Volume 1, The Zoo, written by Scott Snyder, pencils and inks by Nick Dragotta and Gabriel Walta, colors by Frank Martin, letters by Clayton Cowles, cover by Dragotta and Martin, and edited by Sabrina Fuchs, Katie Kubert, and Chris Conroy. Quick synopsis of issues 4, 5, and 6. In issue 4, Absolute Batman has established himself as an extremely large force to be reckoned with. But how did he get to this point? How did he push himself, and how did the tragic events of his childhood and the advice of his father shaped the man who he became, literally. Guest artist Gabriel Walter joins for this essential origin issue of Absolute Batman to explore Bruce Wayne's past and his inevitable future to go bigger. In issue number 5, will the party end here for Absolute Batman? With his friends' lives at stake, will a broken, beaten, and ultimately defeated Bruce Wayne finally compromise and give up both himself and his morals to Black Mask? Or does he have something even bigger than himself to help? And what does this have to do with Mayor James Gordon and his relationship with a young Bruce Wayne? And in issue number 6, this is it. The party ends here. Bruce Wayne, a young man who has built his entire life on leveling up, on becoming a bigger man than both his enemies and the obstacles that stand in his way, will have to break down the Black Mask and his gang of party animals. Will he be able to do this without the help of his unlikely new MI6 ally, Alfred Pennyworth? And how do his childhood friends Edward Nygma, Waylon Jones, Harvey Dent, and Oswald Cobblepot, among others, play a crucial role in Batman's legacy as Gotham's vigilante? So yeah, I don't have anything specific to say about art other than to reiterate that the artist is different in issue number 4 with Gabriel Walter taking the reins. But instead of talking about art now, I'd rather talk about it kind of like as we go through the issues themselves. Unless you guys have anything pressing you want to say off rip.
No.
Okay. So we see Batman's training from Bruce's perspective alongside more of his childhood when his father was alive and how that directly relates to how he built Batman. And even from a young age, this version of Bruce wanted to be an engineer, as we discussed previously. In previous issues, we hear that Bruce won his class a trip to the zoo by placing first in an engineering competition. But here we learn that the competition, here we learn what the competition was for and what Bruce made. The competition was to build a bridge for distressed areas, and we see multiple iterations of it, as we also see multiple iterations of Batman. Bruce starts off trying to be intimidating and scary, dressing like a vampire and even wearing fake fangs that have a paralytic in them. Then goes for something adjustable for both the bridge and Batman, something versatile that adapts to its surroundings. And then he settles on a combination of both to be intimidating and versatile, but even more so than his main universe counterpart, as was said throughout the synopsis that I read for issues 4, 5, and 6. He's bigger and badder. And in between all of this, we also see a young Bruce after the death of his father in a courtroom during the hearing for the man who murdered him, Joe Chill. At this hearing, Bruce asks to speak before Joe so he can tell him that he hates him and will never forgive him for ruining what was the best day of his life. What did you guys think of issue number 4 and the change in art, especially?
It made me sad. Like, I was just like, because it's like, it's very, like, it was already kind of clear that Bruce is like a very broken child, like, who never kind of not got over, but like healed from that grief. But like this issue really made it clear that it's like, damn, this is a kid wearing the costume of an adult in order to make himself feel better. And it's just like, damn, it's really tragic.
I mean, isn't that all us mid-20-year-olds in the year of our Lord 2025?
Oh, for sure. And I think that's why I sympathize with it so much, because it's like, damn, true, but damn.
Yeah. Like you can kind of see it in the art too, like how it's like drawn. It's like really grungy and like kind of sketchy looking, and like really shows how chaotic his life is. Also, when he threw the gun in the fire, was that supposed to symbolize that it was fake, or like we just belting guns in the fire now?
No, that was a real gun. He just didn't want to use guns anymore.
Which was also kind of crazy because like we basically see him try to like figure out Batman. Does Batman use weapons like this, or is it something completely different? Also, his little RC car. I don't know how it had that giant jack in it, but that was crazy.
I mean, real life jacks are pretty small. On films, they use jacks like that to flip cars for action scenes.
But that giant jack just came out of that teeny car. Like, where did he store all of that?
Yeah, that shot was really funny. Seeing the RC car approaching, and it looks like the Batmobile, but then no, it's just a tiny little RC car.
Right, I was like, dang, he already had one. I was like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, and we also learned that it was hinted at, but we get confirmation that in this universe, Thomas Wayne was a school teacher instead of a doctor in the main universe.
Yeah, it was. Speaking oh,
Oh,
speaking of that, I didn't even know that he was a doctor in the main universe. So I learned something new when I read
yeah,
that.
you should.
Yeah, I didn't know what that man did in the original
Yeah,
Right.
universe.
I just knew that they were rich.
yeah, he became rich by being a doctor. Like I don't think he like inherited anything from his parents. I think that like Bruce's father was like first generation wealth.
Oh, that makes sense. No wonder they went down crime alley.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was like, I'm from this hood. I can walk down this alley.
It's like it's not like that anymore, but you know.
Yeah, no, we have real life examples of people going back to where they're from and dying. Unfortunately,
Oh
Mhm.
my gosh.
I mean, unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate truth. But yeah, moving on to issue number 5. In this issue, we get a follow up to where issue 3 left off, with Batman accepting Black Mask's deal of a ceasefire for money on Alfred's advice, so that he could essentially become the Batman we know in the main universe. But of course, Batman couldn't actually accept that, and instead takes all of the money out in cash and places it on a gigantic spotlight in the shape of a bat. A spotlight that we learn was built as a memorial for the lives lost at the Gotham Zoo shooting at the location of the now torn down zoo. But it wasn't lit this year due to the party animal's crime spree, so Batman lit it himself. From here, we see Batman supposedly beat the shit out of and not kill a bunch of people after the deal is called off. Um,
Allegedly.
and he skewers the very same man whose hand he cut off, who somehow survived that, with spikes that
But didn't get
protrude
his hand back.
from his suit. Then he body slams him, and I'm like, Batman, that guy's dead. Batman is then captured by Black Mask, who uses his weakness of no killing against him by having his own men shot. Then proceeds to do to Batman what he did to all those people. But just like his men, Batman somehow doesn't die after being stabbed, set on fire, and thrown off a building and shot from a helicopter. He is literally a tank. And once Batman escapes to one of his bat caves, Alfred meets him there to tell him off for not accepting the deal, and leaves him to treat his wounds alone. And at the very end, Black Mask sends out crates of weapons and masks to the citizens of Gotham with the promise of money. So, what do you guys think of issue number 5?
It was
Pretty-
so
oh,
like pressing because like I don't know, towards the end where like we see Bruce battered and then like we see his mom in the city trying to talk the people out of like, using the mask. I was like, oh man, this is about to go south really, really fast. Maybe this is Batman's villain arc because they're loading up on guns and everything, and I'm like, she's gonna get shot. She's gonna get shot.
for sure. It definitely set up like the waiting for the other shoe to drop very, very well. And like all the issues that I kind of had with Absolute Batman in the beginning have kind of got mitigated in issue 5 because it's like, oh, okay, now I see the vision, now I see where we're at. And so I've started to enjoy it a lot more once we hit issue 5.
Yeah, I love how scared you guys are for people's lives in these comics. Not to say that you should stop because people can die, but like, I'm not nearly as concerned as you guys are most of the time.
Listen, manga has me traumatized. If a character starts giving off death flags, more often than not, I'm like, it's
Yeah.
Jover.
Listen, I build attachments to characters, and like I'm not overly attached to her, but like the fact that she's here, like not dead like in the original series, it has me like on edge.
Like she could die at any time.
It's like,
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly.
She's not supposed to be here. Somebody's got to write the timeline.
Also,
right.
Batman was hit by a car after being shot at by a helicopter. So,
Yeah.
well, he was shot
But-
at, exploded, hit by a car, and then only had some scrapes and whatnot that he stitched back together.
He also had his arm broken by Black Mask.
Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily broken. He was just like, "Hey, man, help me set my arm in place." I'm like, "Your arm is broken. What do you mean set it?"
I mean, you set bones when they break.
Yeah.
He used it like it was nothing, though.
Yeah. And then the next issue,
He's Absolute Batman.
he does proceed to use that arm like it's not broken. Speaking of
Exactly.
which, in issue number 6, we start with Bruce going to Wayland for help and revealing to all his friends that he's Batman. Then we learn that the mask and guns, and then we learn what the mask and guns are about. The mask are AR goggles for a game of murder and destruction being played by Black Mask. You get a specific amount of money for committing crimes, including murder, and the deaths of certain people are worth more than others, like James Gordon and Martha Wayne being $1 million each. As the city spirals out of control, Batman flies in a plane alongside Oswald to reach Black Mask's yacht, where the server powering the game is located. And on page 10, we get Nick Dragata's rendition of the iconic Dark Knight Returns cover art as Batman jumps out of the plane and a lightning bolt strikes behind him. It's cool as hell. And then he lands onto Black Mask's boat with a double knee drop, like Robin in the Teen Titans movie, onto one of Black Man's family members, who I don't know if that's like his brother or his son or whatever, but one of the family members. And just that guy's done for the rest of his life.
For sure.
He then punts Black Mask Kid into the sea. And after witnessing that, just a smile from Batman sends Black Mask's wife jumping off the boat into the ocean to escape. We then see Alfred putting his daughter on a plane out of Gotham, and we learn more about their estranged relationship. It seems like he was an absent father, always away on a government mission, and his daughter resents him for it, and says that she'll no longer have a father if they take off, which Alfred says to that, "Wheels up, Captain." We then go back to the yacht as Batman fights Black Mask and beats the shit out of him, of course. But we also saw Black Mask take down a big guy before, so he does get some damage in as well, choking Batman with a garrote when Batman turns the ears on his helmet forward and stabs them into Black Mask's eyes through his mask. This Batman is so brutal. It is insane. Batman then blows up the boat, and the game ends. And at the end, it's revealed that Alfred didn't take off. So presumably, neither did his daughter. So he might be attempting to patch things up with her as he begins to patch Batman up and work alongside him. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, at the very end, we see a dude like tied up to these weird red like babies in an all-white room, who goes, "Get me Bane." And I'm like, what the hell is that? Presumably that's the Joker. But like,
he's so ugly.
What happened to this man?
This is where we end, but of course you guys could keep reading. And who knows, maybe we just come back to it later and do the next arc with Bane, because the next arc with Bane is so damn good. Bane is my favorite Batman villain, and they did him so much justice in this. It's so good. But what did you guys think of issue number 6?
I really, really enjoyed issue number 6. And honestly, seeing presumably the Joker at the end, it's like, is there, like, I feel like now more than ever, there's definitely steroids in the water supply of this Gotham. Because why is everyone yacked? Why is everyone like it's a little insane, but I kind of like it. Also, Black Mask is totally dead. Like, I've been able to suspend my disbelief for like every other like lackey or goon in this comic. That man is dead. You're like just straight up. Especially because you sent the panel in here and then looking at it again, that man's dead. Batman killed him.
Nah, it just didn't go deep enough. It didn't go to his brain. It just ripped his eyes. You know? And then he threw him into the ocean and he gave him a life preserver. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he literally hit him with a bowling ball.
Look, Batman didn't kill him. He survived, and then he went to the hospital, and then he died during surgery. That's not Batman's fault. That's different. That's completely different. Okay.
Yeah.
If you died 2 days later, that's not Batman's fault.
Just true. And who knows? Apparently, the surgeons in Gotham are cracked because the guy who lost his hand is still alive, or I guess was.
I mean, we don't know about him now because
that man got slammed on his neck.
He's done.
But yeah, what did you guys think of the story of the comic as a whole, and like how are you feeling about like it going forward?
I'm for sure gonna continue reading it because I just love how over the top it is, and like I don't know, the ending scene with like presumably like the Joker and then how he calls in Bane. I need to see what happens next because I've only ever heard about the stuff that Bane does, and I'm like, I need to see it for my own eyes.
I liked it a lot. I probably will continue, but after I finish Absolute Green Lantern, more than likely.
Remember that we're going to read Absolute Martian after, so don't start that one yet.
Don't worry.
I won't.
But yeah, this was great. Next up is Absolute Wonder Woman, the one I've been most excited for. This whole book club started because I was like, I'm gonna force my friends to read Wonder Woman, and I'm gonna make them Wonder Woman fans. Um, and I don't want to overhype it, but like of all the Wonder Woman comics I've read so far, this is my favorite. And I think that this is gonna be a Wonder Woman comic that like makes that like opens up a lot of people's eyes how awesome Wonder Woman is, and is gonna like
If
create
you see some fan art
create a
after this when you start reading it.
oh yeah, you're probably going to be drawing Batman. But yeah, that's I'm excited to read that. So next episode we'll read the first 3 issues of that.